spoken. They want the #1 home improvement YouTube channel in the world to do it their way. I said, okay, I'm here to please you. What am I talking about? Talking about those holes over there in the floor. We got to plug both those holes. I'm going to show you how I do it. Woo! I got hole saws, 3 different hole saws, a couple different boards with holes in them. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with all these. Figured out and situated in my brain. This is just a test piece. So we've got that there. This is one size to create the plug. Don't worry about that hole. We'll get to that in a minute. Another size to cut the hole. That is the hole size for this. A hole saw cut that out. And so we don't want this big wide ring. So we need to go up a size? No, we go down a size. See that? We're going to cut a perfectly good hole. Because that one isn't so perfect. And I want a very, very tight, seamless integration. So keeping this all sorted out, this is the hole saw that cuts the plug. This is the board that the hole saw needs to stay aligned to cut the plug to go to this hole here. Then this hole saw here cuts the hole with this one. This one here is going to keep it aligned. What you do is you line it up like that, you stand on it, and you drill right straight down. Goes there. Now this one here, we only need a plug because this is a really good hole here. So we will put this on the other bit here. This one doesn't have a drill bit, centering drill bit, and I believe that one goes with this one. Yes. So then we'll use this as a guide to cut the plug that goes into there. And then I got this just to tune things up a little bit. It's a perfect radius, 1-inch radius file there, so we can tune things up to get a perfect tight joint. Now let's make all this happen. Okay, this area here is getting a peninsula island cabinet. Can anybody guess? Hello! What's going on down there in that hole? Is it a root cellar or something? Why is there a hole in the floor? Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, next you have to have your safety socks on. Or you have white-soled sneakers. I don't have any white-soled sneakers, and black shoes, sneakers, scuff up the floor quite easily. Here we go. I think I had my safety socks on. I almost lost a toe. I'll have to sand this up a little bit. Now, give you a close-up. That's what it looks like. See how we're just cleaning up that outside edge there? Making it a perfect circle. I gotta sand this down just a little bit. So close. We're talking maybe a 32nd, 64th-ish type stuff. I'm gonna get some sandpaper. I'm gonna sand it right here. I'm not late. I don't know anymore. I'll sand your work. I don't have sand, so I'm just gonna oh, that looks so good. I'm going to pop that up from the basement below and get this glued in. You guys gotten your glue dot yet? This spot here looks pretty close. It's a lighter color with tighter grains. Alright, well I just checked the footage and it turns out the camera was not on when I glue and set this last plug that I drilled out of a board right over there. It's the same procedure. I used the glue bot to put glue on the floor side. I'm not putting glue on the actual plug, because when I drive it in, it's going to scrape all that glue off, and then I'm going to have glue all over the floor. So I put the glue on the actual floor, and then drive the plug in. Pretty straightforward, same as that one there. I'm going to put my suit on before I ruin another pair of pants. Safety socks on. This is a very tedious process. I got to do more edge sanding, as I said earlier. I got to do some scraping. It's really not that bad. It's probably 40 minutes worth of work. And then I can start troweling on the filler. Well, this is the scraper I'm using. It's got 4 different blades on it. If it gets dull, you just pull out your multi-tool and rotate it. And then you can resharpen it. This one I've had for quite a long time. Quickly, flip around. This goes really nice. Oh, that's right. And you can sharpen these with the file. I'll leave a link in the description for both this awesome jumpsuit and this 4-bladed scraper. Something that's kind of interesting, this is a pocket door here. A very bad functioning pocket door. I'm taking off all the door casing on both this door and this little broom closet door. Okay, done. I want to stop on floors. Oh, you can't do this on floors. Just little things that take 5 minutes, you're done over. Done, you check stop yet? Most likely, this pocket door's going to go away until it turns out, you hope. And this is going to go away. Probably should get this door out here too, before I keep going on the floors. Very tedious to do this right. I guess I don't have it. Which probably telling you. Just a lot of tedious work. See, I'm using these, doing the sanding, blending over there, blending, switching from the edge, bed sander to palm sander to hand sander. So this little entryway to a different section of the house is a good example of what you can expect to remove the finish in a closet. You can't really get your drum sander in there. You can go at it with this initially, and well, I'm going to hit it a few more times. I'm going to take it up to probably 60, maybe 80 with this here. I can see these cross grains here all the way out to here. This is 60 grit. And I'll probably bump it up to 80 and keep looking at these grains here. Gotta make sure they all get smoothed out. I'm going to try to give a close-up. Right here, you can still see the marks from the 36 grit. Right here, a little right there, some right there, some right there. Now you come over here, this is where I just hit it up with the 60 grit. And 60 grit was just perfect for removing all the 36 grit marks. So I got to keep going, and it's actually not as bad as it looks. It looks painful. Alright, maybe it is as bad as it looks. Making my last rounds with 80 grit. I'm doing this area here. I'm doing the landing thing there and over there. One thing I didn't talk about, if you've never used one of these, they can heat up real quick. Not the actual machine, but the surface that you're sanding. So even though you want to stay there and keep working a scratch or whatever you're removing, no, don't. Keep on moving down, let it cool down and come back. Because you can burn it, you can melt it, just keep moving, and you don't want to create too much heat wherever you are, whether it's a scratch or whether it's asbestos. This looks pretty darn good. Real good. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time. Time to fill it. We have red oak trowelable wood filler for floors. I'll put a link in the description. Why did I buy it in quarts? Well, I just did. There's not a really good explanation for that. Got myself a fresh trowel here.
Hopefully I don't get a blister.
Ready? Go. Not sure if you guys can see that angle or not. I got you in a hole in the wall. Oh, I missed a spot. I missed a spot. How did I miss a spot? Fix that up real quick, Handyman. There we go. Where's that spot go? I saw another spot that I missed. Did I miss that? No. You're gonna have to come back tomorrow to see what this looks like once it's sanded with 100 grit. Or is it 120? We're gonna start with 100, and then we'll return the drum sander. We'll return the edge sander. It's kind of bleeding through there. Got some asbestos still over there. And get a new tool. And there's a lot to talk about this filler here that I'll talk about in tomorrow's video. Well, thank you for watching. Thanks for all the great comments on the last video. Goodbye. We'll do some bonus footage for the loyal few that stick around to the end. I really, really appreciate your views and you spending the time with me. I know there's a lot of things you can be doing, but you're watching my bonus footage. So if you're doing this yourself, you have to make sure this dries before you sand it. I'm going to point the camera down here where you can still see some of the wet areas. Of course, this has only been half an hour since I put this down. But this is a spot like that. It's going to be one of the last spots to dry. And it may look dry, but you're going to sand it, and there's going to be dark patches like swirls where this was troweled on, and you're going to freak out. Don't freak out. You just have to make sure it dries. It's because it's still wet. See how dark that looks there? It's because it's still wet. That is the big key with this trowelable filler, is it's got to be dry before you sand. So I'm not going to sand tonight. What I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm scraping off the heavy areas, like right there, so that and I'll just shove it over in the corner. The reason I'm doing this is so that when I come back tomorrow and sand, I still won't be able to seal it tomorrow. I got to make sure it's 100% dry. So after I sand, I'm going to wait a whole nother day before I seal it up. And I already got the sealer. I'm using the best products that money can buy. Stay tuned, see what it is. Stay tuned. Who can take a guess? What type of sealer is going on this? And what type of, get a little woozy. What type of top coat is going on it? Yeah, that's a trivia question for the bonus crew. Goodbye.